Okay, everybody. In this lesson, I'm going to show you guys how to go about changing the colors on your parts, and then also how to create an exploded view for your cube. So this is all geared towards you doing this for the puzzle cube that you created. You're going to change all the colors in your cube. That way, they can correspond to an actual color, so that they're actually distinguishable. And then you're going to create an exploded view for this particular cube assembly. Right now, I'm going to show you based on the little toy that I created. Like I said, there's some people that are saying they're having issues with exploded views. Sorry, not exploded views. There are people that are having issues with the color situation, in which sense that they're saying that they're not able to change the colors of some of the parts. I believe that the reason why you're not able to change some of the colors is because you have some parts on different documents. Notice that all of my parts here are on the same exact document. I called it document toy. On the top left-hand corner, you see TOY. And then in this document, I have each individual part, which is my toy legs, my toy top, and then my toy peg. Now, your job is to change the colors of your individual cubes, but if you have your cube pieces on different documents, then it may not change the color because you have that specific piece on a different document. So you would have to go to that document and then change the color in that other document before you can import it and assemble it here. Okay? If you can import it and assemble it, but it's actually just grabbing it from the other document. And if in the other document you have the color at something else or no color at all, then it's not going to give you a color for the assembly. So my guess is that if you have your little pieces in different documents, you have to go back to each individual document and change the color there before you can assemble it. That way it can work for the assembly once it's done. Okay. Now, how do we change the colors? On the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see where it says part 1. It'll highlight the whole entire part. Right now, I changed it to this particular color, but I can change that. If I right-click on part 1 on the bottom left, I can go to Edit Appearance, and I can change this to whatever color I want. Let's say I want to change this to lighter color. So this will be like this lighter turquoise type of color. I have my toy top. Let's say I want to change that color too. I click on the bottom left where it says part 1, right-click, edit the appearance, and I can change that color to whatever color I want. Let's say I want to change it to like purple now, like a lighter purple. And now I want to change the toy peg color. The toy peg is a dark purple now. Let's say I want to change it on the bottom left-hand corner where it says part 1. Right click on that and select edit appearance, and I can change that color to whatever I want. Let's say I want to change it to gold. So I'm going to change that and then select OK. Once you're happy with it, then it'll actually automatically update it for the assembly. Notice that I already have this toy assembled, right? This is from the last video that I uploaded to you guys. So this is my newly assembled toy. All of the colors got updated because they're on the same document. If they're not on the same document, once again, you might have to go back to each individual document and change the color in the document that you had it from. Because if you just try to import some file from a different document, it'll just keep it as it is. Okay, so just a reminder for that. Now we're going to create an exploded view. So on the right-hand side, so you'll see that there's different options. On the right-hand side, you'll see one of this option that says exploded views. You're going to go ahead and select that option. And then you'll see the screen pop up on the right-hand side. It'll say explode 1. Build steps by dragging components. Select components in the graphics area of the instance list, and then drag and rotate them by using the triad manipulator. So basically, you can drag stuff out and you can rotate things depending on how you want it to look as your exploded view. You can play with it depending on how you actually want it to look on the drawing, because you are going to have to create a drawing for this. So let's say I want to start by exploding it, like literally how would it look if this thing just exploded, meaning like all the parts went in different directions. So let me start with my tabletop. So let's say I want to start with the tabletop here. And once I click on that part, notice that I have a bunch of different arrows, directional arrows, so the XYZ plane. If I want to move this tabletop and move it upwards, I'm going to drag it in that direction and just say how many inches you want to move it upwards. I'm going to go ahead and just select +2 and try to move that outwards 2 inches. Let's see. It's not liking it, so I think I need to double click on explode 1. Dragging components. Okay. So let me try it again. There we go. So I'm editing the tabletop. So I made it go up. Now it's going to ask me to translate. So this is a translation, right? I can do a translation or rotation or a combination of both. So let's say I want to do a translation, and for this particular part, so something simple enough, and then I'm going to say that this is going to be exactly 2 inches. I'm going to change that 1.79 to a 2, and select the little green check mark saying that I'm happy with that exploded view. I'm going to do the same thing with the next step. So let's do the left leg. I'm going to select the little arrow, and I'm going to be sliding it to the left. So in the negative direction, as you can see now I have a number. Right now the number is negative 2.31. Let me just change that to a nice even number. I'm going to call it negative 2, and I'm going to select the little check mark. So now the little leg is moving away from the center, which is the cylinder. I'm going to do the same thing with the right leg. So again, I want to select the little arrow. It's a translation to the right side, so I'm going to move it this way in the three-dimensional plane. Right now it's negative 2.03. I want to change that to negative 2, so it's a nice even number, and select OK. And then finally, I want to move the little peg. The little peg, I'm going to click on that, and you can move it whichever direction you want. I can actually move this down, and you can select however much you want to move this down. I'm going to go ahead and keep it consistent and make it negative 2 inches. The space doesn't really matter. You can actually move this around however you wish. I'm going to leave it as negative 2 inches. You could also rotate something, like if you wanted to rotate it for whatever reason. Let's say your cube looks kind of funky, but you actually want to rotate it around. You actually can. For example, you can add a rotation. You don't necessarily have to do this, but let's say I wanted to add a rotation here for my exploded view. So it looks something like this. So this will be something that I could do as well. So this is just to show you guys that you can translate it, but you could also rotate your exploded view. Okay, so I'm done creating the exploded view, which I called explode 1. Right on the right-hand side, you'll see that it says explode 1. So now what are you going to turn in? What you're going to turn in to me is you're going to turn in a drawing of your exploded view so I can see how the cube would actually go together. So on the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the little plus sign. I'm going to be adding a drawing or creating a drawing. So now that I have my exploded view done, I'm going to select the first, which is the A page, A sheet, which is in inches. Now it's going to take me to the screen, which will be giving me like a brand new drawing file. Usually this is where you draw do your multi-view drawing. Instead of going to Part Studio, I'm going to go ahead and select Assemblies, because I'm going to be using my assembly of the toy to input the exploded view for that particular assembly. So I'm going to select Assemblies. I'm going to go to Assemble Toy. And as you can see on the left-hand side, I have a bunch of different options that I could use. Do I want to do the front view? Do I want to do the top, left, right, back, bottom? I actually want to go ahead and go with isometric because I want to be able to see this in a three-dimensional perspective. And where it says default explode position, I want to change that to my exploded view called explode 1. So whatever you decided to call it, I left it as explode 1, and I'm going to select that as my exploded view. Okay. Now you can change the scale for this according to your sheet, however you decide to do so. I'm going to leave it as it is, as scale 1 to 2, and then just kind of like drop it down right in the middle. As you can see, what's the point of me changing the colors if I can't see the colors on my drawing? So basically the next part that you guys are going to have to do is you're going to have to change the view for this so that you could actually see the colors. So the way you would do that really, really quickly, you just have to right click. And then there should be some, let's see. There should be an option that says, oh, there we go, the third one. The third one says show shaded view. If I select show shaded view and I click on that, it'll actually give me the shaded view for every single one of these pieces in color. So some of you guys were asking, okay, I want to see the color in the exploded view. This is the way that you would see the color in the exploded views. Okay. What I want from you guys is I want you guys to basically do an exploded view for your cube. Obviously, you may not need to rotate it. You may just need to push everything outwards. So basically, you might need to move some cubes down, some cubes to the left, some cubes up, some cubes to the front, some cubes to the back, and explode this view so that you can kind of have an idea of how your cube would look like when it's put together. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. I will see you guys on the next one. Make sure you turn in this drawing file into Google Classroom. Now remember to turn in the drawing file. I called it drawing 1. If I want to rename it, I can rename this to exploded cube or whatever it is that you're gonna call it. And you just have to right click on that, go to export. It's going to export it as a PDF, which is exactly what I want. In color, download it. Everything should be the same. Export it. This will actually download it onto your computer. And then once you have it on your computer, you can turn that in for full credit. Okay. Hope this video was helpful, guys. I will see you on the next one. Have a great weekend.